also tell them about what is about to take place, what we're going to discuss today, and why that may be important for women and men in Gambia. You know that our mission with the Sheroes Sisterhood is to teach women to protect their womb, protect their sister, and protect their nation. Okay. And so if this is our mission, the question is, how do we accomplish that? Well, the words are on the wall, just like they were in ancient Egypt: heal, glow, grow. First, you have to heal yourself. That starts with your physical and mental health, your environment, the people that are around you. So that healing is a process. And so I guess, Miriam, you can tell them why we're doing this workshop today and why that's important for the Gambia.
I know at first it's about beauty and how we look on the outside, but it's quite important for us to start considering the kind of things we put in our stomach. We have to be worried how it's prepared, what it contains, whether it's good for us and it's not. And I am so excited that we have this going on here, because I think this is the second time I'm being part of Mam Naasira's event, and I am happy that we're going to learn more. And as we get to see what's in and what the ingredients and everything, then we make a list of them so that we could have some here, and then we will be able to teach other women as well. And also, I don't know if I should talk about our workshop. So like every end of month, the last Sunday, we are planning on organizing a workshop on soap making, and I think we'll include the food as well, the vegan food, to tell them about the importance of our health, what we eat, and a lot more.
So at this time, if you guys don't mind, I just want to go around the circle and just talk about some of the things that we're already eating. I think it's so important that Gambia knows that we are not necessarily trying to change the food that they're eating. I remember when I first came here 3 years ago, I was addicted to chicken benedict. At home, I eat kale, I eat spinach, all of the things that Mama Naasira says food is medicine. But when I tasted that chicken benedict, my life was changed. In Nigeria, in Liberia, in Ghana, they all have jollof rice. And I learned that jollof rice is not jollof rice until you taste chicken benedict. Because see, jollof, I learned through history, was one of the kingdoms of the Wolof people. And so they are the originators of jollof rice, only they call it benedict. And you've not truly tasted jollof rice until you've tasted it here in the Gambia. And once I did, it changed my life. And so for a week straight, that was all I ate, no vegetables. And so I realized that many of the Gambians are suffering from the same thing I suffered from when I first arrived. Why eat anything else when you have chicken benedict, chicken yassa, domoda, eba, and lovely bread and spam in the morning for breakfast? When you have ice cream that Marianne makes and sells to the kids of Bacau. But this conversation is about adding to the menu, right? What else? When you look at Gambia, you see all of these fruits and vegetables that I pay high money for at home for free, just growing like that. Avocado, pear, lemongrass, moringa. I mean, just growing for free. That I feel like it's a blessing to have a food healer like Mama Naasira that knows how to use those ingredients and make them taste good. And so we need to learn from her while she's here in the Gambia. We don't know how long she'll be here, and so we need to capture that knowledge, and we need to make sure that we teach it to our Sheroes like Fatima and Asitu, and because we need to make sure that you all are holding that information that we can use to heal ourselves, heal, glow, and grow, of course. So the question on the floor, what is one thing in your diet that you eat right now, and what is one thing that you think may be healthy for you that you don't eat enough of? I don't know if that was a big question, if I said a lot. Did it make sense? Okay, so I guess we will start the circle this way, or should we start it that way? Oh, shit.
Can you repeat your question again?
Yes, the question is, what is one thing that is in your diet that you know you shouldn't eat, but you eat? And what is one thing that is not in your diet that you know you should eat, but you don't eat? I guess I can start.
Yes, you start.
So one thing that is in my diet that I eat, that I shouldn't eat, but I eat anyway, cheese. I love cheese. I don't eat it on a daily basis. I don't eat it on a weekly basis. But I learned through my study that black people are lactose intolerant. That means that there's an ingredient in the milk of cheese that makes your stomach messed up. So it makes you fart, it gives you gas, it makes you bloated, especially when you're on your cycle as a woman. But I eat cheese anyway. I like cheese pizza. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Last night, we even ate a cheese pizza at the Baobab Hotel after we left the office. I didn't even like it much. Cheese pizza is, better at home. Not like the Ben & Chin. But I ate it. I was fiending. I needed that cheese. And that is one thing in my diet that should not be, that still is, that I just cannot get rid of.
I have to ask you a question.
Yes,
You've
ma'am.
been eating very well all week.
Yes.
Spicy, tasty vegan. And when
Yes.
you added the cheese, how did that change your body in terms of knowing that the food that we prepare, it detoxes you?
Well, I didn't go to the restroom like I should.
So
I'm regular.
You felt that immediately.
Immediately I was constipated. Immediately I didn't
You
go.
were not constipated before. That
No.
is so important, to get out there to all of us people, that once you make that change, we shouldn't ever think about returning unless you're on vacation. And then if you want to do something, it's okay. And have that line. I used to travel with my children when they were younger because my body was very sensitive. I always, if I had to eat something that wasn't healthy, after I finished, I would have water and lime. I always shop and put that lime and drink it. And it would sort of neutralize it. So that's one thing to share.
Well,
but I just wanted to hear that.
Lime juice.
Yes.
I hope that lime is in your
And
citrus
when you
drink
travel
that I'm
on the
gonna
plane,
have.
just take you some lime.
Yes, I'm gonna bring my lime. You see that?
You see?
Lime is the answer to the cheese
Or
addiction.
lemon, and either one.
I will try my best. So one thing that is good for me, I know it's good for me, and is not in my diet on a regular basis, is moringa. Moringa in the U.S. is very expensive to have on a regular basis, like whether it be powder or the seeds, powder coming from the leaves or the seeds. Like, I know that moringa should be in my diet on a regular basis, but because I live in the U.S., I don't live in a climate that gives it to me. And so you have a market of people that sell it, and they charge very, very expensive prices. Turmeric is definitely.
Since we don't have a lot of moringa, turmeric is for
It's
us.
a good stuff.
Because we have the Indians from India.
Yeah.
That's their transport to the
That's
U.S.
turmeric.
See, as soon as we can get us start transporting this moringa to the U.S., then we won't have that problem.
Yes.
So this is what we're
Well, that's
doing.
what the Sheroes is doing. I'm trying to tell them, please.
This is what it's about.
This is not just our health, this is our wealth. I mean,
Yes,
please,
yes.
it's both. Health is wealth, and then also our literal dollars. But yes, sorry I spoke too much. I hope you get the template and the format. Don't be shy. Sheroes are outspoken. They say what they feel, what they think, what they like, what they know. So what is one thing in your diet that you eat that you shouldn't? And what is one thing that should be in your diet
What you have today?
that isn't? It's okay. We will wait.
Se man luma buga yoka se affaire lekka bi mun naa wax ne garab la parew ma ko xaw moo ne lii yëpp dina xew waaye kontaan naa tamit nu mu xewee ndax man am naa testimony si affaire yi lekka bi tey ndax man bu ma commencé di dem si Mama Naasira dama am high blood pressure for mun naa wax 1 year 6 months ndax man bu ma biiree suma last doom dama am 6 months pregnant su ma demee lopitaan day ma dee wax ne dama am high blood so loolu dafa indi woon difficulty bu bari si suma health so ma try ba soona dama dee jël garab si lopitaan bi waaye saa yu nekk rek dama dee daana so bu ma demee ba ma am doom bi ba ma ñëw commencé si Mama Naasira dama lekka bi 1 week 1 week man dem lopitaan ñu ne ma gisuñu benn high blood pressure si suma bopp ma del si waat ñëw wax ko Mama Naasira so kontaan naa si loolu.
Yeah, most of it. I got it. Most of it. Girl, it only took a week. She said I ate for a week at Mama Naasira's house and that blood pressure was gone.
Yes.
I got it from being pregnant.
Garab la.
We understand.
dama bëgg a wax all Gambians ne lii garab la. et na ku ko xeeb mosuloo ko xamuloo lan la moo def si sa yaram waaye soo ko mosee rek di nga xam lan la moo def si sa health foofu laa am.
Inshallah.
Fatima that translated.
For the people at home, because I understood.
Yes. Oh yeah. Home.
Okay, I'm Fatima. What Antonia was just saying, she was saying like the food is medicine, just like you were saying it, Mama was saying. She said the food is medicine, and for her, she appreciated so much because it done something for her. The time she was 6 months pregnant, when she was going to the hospital, she was diagnosed and said she had high blood pressure. During her pregnancy, she had difficulties like with that high blood pressure and being pregnant. So after, when she delivered, it was still going on. And then when she met Mama Naasira, she started working for her. And she ate the food like for 1 week. And then she went back to the hospital for checkup. And when they checked, she said like, they said the high blood pressure was like, it was gone. It wasn't there. So she said, she said she's sending a message like to every Gambian or, over the world to say like the food is medicine. If you're not eating it, you don't know what you're missing until you start like eating the food and you know like exactly what you were missing when you were not eating it.
Nice.
So yes, she's
Thank
grateful.
you.
Thank you. That's better. I like that. We need that.
Next one.
Jennifer.
Yeah, I thought we are going to jump.
That's a good one.
Okay. So I am Geneva. The food that is in my diet, but I shouldn't eat, that one is egg. Yes, whenever I eat eggs, I get allergic. So that's why I don't like egg. But the food that is in my diet, that I should eat, that is also is rice. If I don't eat rice in the day, I feel sick. So I love rice too much, especially chicken verachin, as you said. So I love chicken verachin, so I love rice. Any type of rice, but I love rice. That's why always in a day, at least once I eat rice. But egg is out of my diet. I don't like eggs. So that's my diet. Next. Hope you are prepared.
I said too, you have to say.
So yeah, next one.
Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon to you guys. I'm Aisatu from Spicy Taste and Vegan Cuisine. I am happy, thankful and grateful to be with Mom and Papa. Yeah, because
Aisha is so, I just have to say for her first, Aisha has spent some years in school studying cooking and all of those different things. And I met her 2 years ago. She was in school, and she said when she was done, she was coming back. And when she came back, there was an available position for her. And she was so anxious and so motivated that she found the correct person to work with, and that was Fatima. and the two of them together, and then we have Antoinette. I have a trio, and you see what they did for you? I don't have to say anymore. So you can go from there. You are really, today she made the cornbread.
Yes, cornbread. It's cornbread.
Cornbread.
In real life.
Yes.
Yeah, and there is something in my diet that I shouldn't eat is rice. But since I start working with the spicy tasty vegan cuisine, I have limited it. I eat it like once in a week, and if I eat it, the way I feel before and now it's different, because I have been eating now medicines. I can say it because our food is medicine. Yeah, and it's really helped me. Yeah, and the Findi with the cherry, it's really helped me and helped my parents too, because they have been giving us the turmeric powder, and whenever I'm cooking at home, I always add it in our food, and it's really good and helped me with my parents. So I'm really grateful and happy to be with the spicy tasty vegan cuisine. Thank you.
That's lovely.
Hi everyone, my name is Saina Wujang. I work at Ageela. The food that I can say that I shouldn't eat, that I eat every day, is rice. I've been told that brown rice is better than the white rice, but then, yeah, I still eat the white rice. And then the food that I should eat that I don't, I guess, is more vegetables. So like kale, back in London, I used to eat kale all the time, but then with pasta, so I don't know if that's good, but it tasted good. So kale, broccoli, stuff like that I should eat, but I don't really see broccoli in the Gambia unless you go to the restaurant and then you get it with noodles, like fried noodles. I don't know whether that's healthy either, but that's the only time I see vegetable, broccoli, kale and stuff like that. But yeah, so I need to eat more healthier, and so I'm glad I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Namda, aloha, welcome. My name is Lori, also known as Polka. What I've eaten since I moved to the Gambia that's not beneficial for my body is white rice, grains, because the ones I was eating in America, they're not really available. However, I did find some quinoa this week, so woo woo. So that's, I don't want to say should, but that's just, doesn't do my body good. So it would be grains like the white rice, but I actually like the white rice. So, and what I should eat more of?
What you should eat and sleep for your body, but you don't eat.
Oh, I eat things that are good. I love greens. I'm like a green machine. But I'm lacking because I don't have the greens that I'm used to from where I live. But I did plant some seeds yesterday. Collard greens, kale. I had some big lettuce. So I eat greens every day. If they're not greens, I do lettuce. So yeah, my diet is I have a pretty good diet. This is my background. So I healed myself from food like back in '94. So what I need to avoid is mucus causing foods, which is the grains for me, white rice. Yeah, so basically what it is.
Madam Sai.
All right.
It's your turn.
Okay, I think I would have to introduce myself again. My name is Mariam Fofana, and the food that I am not supposed to eat, but I eat all the time, is rice. Anything that has starch, like, how is it called? Fufu, cassava. Anytime I eat, it takes time before it digests. It sits like here. And it will be there, like if I drink too much water, it will be in my throat. So I would have to move around for it to digest. And then when it comes to my stomach as well, it floats. Then I'll start feeling here, it's very hard. So I think rice is bad for me, but I always eat because that's what I get all the time. And fruits, I know fruits is very good, and vegetables, but I eat them just like when the seasons come, and when it's gone, I don't bother. Even if I say it, I say, no, it's too expensive, let me just not. So I think, I know I will learn a lot from her today, and then I'll start making that and that. Yeah, to regulate what's coming in. If it's bad, I should leave it and focus on what's good for my health. Thank you very much.
Start with the boss lady.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was a really nice introduction. I really appreciate hearing everyone's background. I'm Mama Naasira from Spicy Tasty Vegan. I'm originally from San Francisco, California. I consider that a place where there was a lot of all kind of food in my growing up days, because my parents and family, they came from the South. They had their own farm. So I had the privilege to have parents that knew about farming. And it wasn't just eating, too many starches. I came up with potatoes more or less than rice. Some of our blacks from America, they lived in the area, Louisiana, they ate more rice. My father from Mississippi, more rice. But my family, Arkansas, it was potatoes. And for some reason, potatoes is more like a vegetable, and it may be in some ways somewhat of a privilege. So if we eat more, potatoes, that may be a lot better than eating so much rice. My mother, she didn't have to work, and she prepared a lot of greens, collard greens back in the day, turnip greens, mustard greens, and she did have meat in there, ham hocks. And if you know what ham hocks, that's part of the pig, but it's the part where it's not fat. We didn't eat the fat, it was more lean, because the more money you can invest, the more quality it was. So that's what meat we ate. We ate a lot of beef, roast beef, steaks, because my father was a carpenter. So that was really a blessing to have that background, whole foods. Even when we ate sugar, we know sugar is not that great, but we didn't eat sugar that was pre-packaged, cake foods like Betty Crocker, Heinz. My mother, she couldn't stand that. So we had to bake the cakes from scratch with the cake flour. We did have the eggs, but they would get the eggs from the farm, not from the stores. And the same with the milk. So it's really about quality until you can do better. And that's why we're here in the Gambia to introduce many different things that you have here. And when we're working, sometimes we don't always have time to think about the fendi that your great-grandparents ate, cherry, millet. Those things, they are better for your body. I think they're more for melanated people. Rice is more for Europeans, I think, on some levels. Unless it's the wild rice is what we have in America that I graduated from. Some white rice, there was the brown rice, and then there was the wild rice. And I learned that wild rice was the best because I had a bacterial infection in my knee. And when you have an infection, that means you're full of mucus, pus. And this herbalist from the Virgin Islands, he said, you should have the wild rice. He said, that's better for you. So I had to change my entire eating. So I would do wild rice with papaya or with bananas, and just started gradually and adding in my salads. So I have a lot of experience with food because I grew up in the kitchen when I was 8 years old with my great aunts. I prepared food when most children were playing outside. So that was what I did. But fast forward, when I got ready to leave home to go to college, I was healthy, very healthy. But then when I started living with roommates, and you know how that is in college, well, we started eating McDonald's. And I know most of you have heard of McDonald's. I think in 1971 when I started City College in San Francisco, they opened the new McDonald's. I think that was set up for us to get addicted, to stop eating our parents' food or even preparing our food the way we supposed to. Because we should not be eating other people's food. This is what I have put out to people. You know, our lifestyle is so important. When we say diet, it's about lifestyle, you know. So I, for that whole year in college, eating whatever from restaurants, Mexican food, Chinese food, you name it. I was working, going to school, very little sleep, going to parties, drinking alcohol. I mean, I was doing it. And then suddenly, because I was working in the medical field, I drew blood from a patient as a phlebotomist, and I got stuck with a needle. And when I got stuck, well, that was the end of my life, as we know it, fast foods. So I didn't get a chance to wait until I was 40 to go through the change. My change started at 19, because I had hepatitis, liver swollen, eyes red, stool dark, you know, the whole yard, 9 yards. And I would have died earlier than now, because I'm 67, but the doctor at the time, he said, you need to eat the way your mother raised you. And he said, no, I mean, no hamburgers, no french fries. It must have showed in the blood count that I was eating those things. So I didn't really understand, but I started asking people and going by the health food stores where I worked. And that's when I started learning about grains like millet, which would clean out the colon. I started learning about the herbal teas instead of sugar in the mornings. By the time I was 21, moving forward, by the time I was 24, 21, no more roommates. So I was living by myself. So I had the opportunity to change my own life, you know, herbal teas, not with sugar, but with honey. And it's just gradually just learning and preparing food. And I was living by myself. I would call my friends, or they'd call me. They said, what are you doing? I said, I'm cooking. They would come over and they would be happy, you know, eating the food. And as time gone on, I soon got married and had children, and all of the practice of preparing food, I was able to prepare good meals for my children, like in the mornings. Before they ate anything, if they weren't nursing at the time, I fed them fruits, oranges, whatever fruits was in season, maybe apples, bananas. And then I would give them a cereal. You know, a lot of people today, we still eat cereals in our house. We have millet cereal, we have quinoa cereal, we have semolina cereals with the wheats, and then we put all our superfoods, you know, superfoods like moringa, baobab. Then I have some shipped in, sea moss, bladderwhack, you know, whatever, maca, put it all in there. And you'll start, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see some of these things that we're doing. And it may be exhausting right now, but this is how we can live. When we start taking care of our bodies and seeing what other people are doing, we can see the change, and we can see we're gonna age, but you're not gonna age the way a person that really never thought about themselves until all of a sudden they have fibroid tumors. You know what fibroid problems are, right? Women have lots of that, and that's from eating lots of starch. And that's another thing to back up. I didn't have those illnesses that a lot of women had. Why? Because I got sick so early, I covered all those areas. You know, my food prevented me from having any problem with my uterus. My babies, they were all natural. Even when I had my last child at 31, they asked me, do you want to have this baby natural? I said, oh, I did it with the other two, so I must do it this next time. By the time they got me to 7 centimeters, I started asking for drugs because I felt like I couldn't take it. So they said it was too late. So I had to go through, you know, with it, and the baby was naturally born. And it was a blessing because that means that child was not, you know, challenged with any type of anesthesia, whatever they put in their body, spinal stuff, all those drugs. My child didn't have that, children. So my children now are in their late 30s or mid 30s and 40s, and even today, because I prepared food, you know, in a healthy way, they're healthy today. So that's why you all, you know, you may not have it all, but make sure your children have it. And yeah, so that's a little bit, and I'm in the Gambia, and this is what we're doing. We're sharing our cuisine, and thanks to Kim this week, I moved to a new location, and I didn't really want to work this hard, but it's been a blessing, Sister Kim Poole, that, you know, I was able to pull it through every day. It's been 7 days, and even today, she didn't even tell me she was gonna do this for me. I'm just by faith, leap of faith, that came in, and my chefs, if it wasn't for Fatima, Antoinette, and Isatu, I could not have done it, because now I put so many years, or 50 years preparing this food, I honestly can't do it anymore. I feel like crying, but that's what I've worked 50 years to pay these ladies and anybody else to help me get this food out to people when they want it. Thank you.
I'm so happy you're thankful. From Mama and Papa and all the ladies.
And I forgot to say something about my husband, because he's the one that actually wanted me to do this. I didn't want to do this. As you know, sometimes I don't want to do it. But he said, people got to know about this. And so I said, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I'll just keep doing it, Kim.
Yes. Yes, you guys keep doing it.
And you guys got to help me, because I can't do it by myself anymore. For real.
Well, you have 3 helpers, and you have more right here from your Sheroes that are ready. And that's why this workshop is so important, because this should be common knowledge. It used to be every mama was a Mama Naasira.
Yes.
Every household was doing this, and something changed when $90 million of rice is being imported from from Asia, from China, into the Gambia, a land that's fertile and surrounded by fresh water. That's a problem. Okay, you're gonna eat the rice. You're not even growing the rice. You want Fendi. I mean, even start with that, just growing your own food. And so we have a gift from the Sheroes Sisterhood to you. You say that you want this lifestyle. You say that you can't find the broccoli. You say that you can't find the kale. You say you're not sure what Fendi is. Well, we have a seed bank here in the Sheroes shop, and whenever you decide that you're ready to do what Mama Naasira's family did in Arkansas, eat what they grow what they eat, we're ready to help and support you do that. So everybody just pass around the jar, and I mean, you just look, we have that kale right here. If you want to start growing it, we've got beets.
We have a yard. We just
Yeah, now it sounds like she's saying you can come grow it.
And she's a gardener, and she's gonna teach all of us.
Yes. We've got okra, cucumbers, we've got red Russian kale. I mean, different varieties, and these are all heirloom seeds. So they have terrible companies like Monsanto that are selling seeds that only produce one crop. After it grows, it will never grow again if you take those seeds. So it's so important that we have seeds. Seeds matter. Seeds are important, especially when you're saying that there are fruits and vegetables that you want that you don't have access to. Gambia is fertile ground all the way around. So please go through and choose your seeds, and as you do that, I guess Mama Naasira, you can prepare if you need a break to tell us what we have today on the menu and why we should be eating those foods. Yes, ma'am. You can choose what you want. Just go on through, and then you